how you started, became assistant coach in Gilas.
Well, I started out really as an assistant coach for many teams, with the high school team, with the college team. So that was 10 years of being an assistant coach prior to becoming an assistant coach of the national team. So I entered coaching at the age of 28, and then I became assistant coach of the national team at the age of 39. So yung 10 years na yon, I used to develop as a coach. I handled all the roles of an assistant coach. So I know how to do video editing. I know how to scout opponents. I know how to conduct drills in practices. And of course, I'm also involved in making game plans. But yung stint ko sa national team, it was during the time when I was in between jobs. And it so happened that I volunteered to help the National Federation, which is the SBP. Tama-tama naman, they hired a foreign coach, no, to handle the national team. Si Coach Rajko Toroman, who is a Serbian. And he needed assistant coaches for his staff. Wala naman siyang dala coming from Serbia. So he had to get from within. And since I was helping out with the SBP, nag-volunteer ako in one of the tournaments that he handled. And I think nagustuhan naman niya yung trabaho ko. So he recommended me to be one of the assistant coaches dun sa Gilas. That was the first ever Gilas Pilipinas team. Yun na. So I was the first actually to be hired as an assistant coach, and then ayun na, nag-hire na ng ibang coaches na nakasama ko again from the years.
What do you learn from Coach Rajko?
A lot. Actually, I really learned a lot. Si Coach Rajko is really he's forever a student of the game. He eats basketball for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. Talagang ano siya, talagang his passion is really basketball. So I learned everything from offensive plays to drills to how to discipline the team, to discipline the players. His approach niya before the game, during the game, and after the game. So it's quite different from the usual approach ng mga Filipino coaches. So I learned a lot from him, and he's a disciplinarian, very strict, but I just try to absorb everything. And pinakita ko sa kanya na he can rely on me. Nagpakasipag ako, sinunod ko lang yung gusto niya. So even if it's difficult sometimes, kasi nga para siya military, the way he handled the team, hindi tayo sanay ng gano'n, tayo mga...
How's experience in FIBA Asia 2011?
We failed to achieve our goal, which was to qualify for the Olympics. Kasi we finished at 4th place noong 2011. Goal sana namin is at least mag-3rd place, no? To be given a chance na mag-qualify for the Olympics. But we didn't. So we lost to Korea in the bronze medal match. It was a very close game. In fact, nag-overtime yun eh. So it was a heartbreaking loss to Korea, but we were almost there. We almost made it. So it was a mixed feeling of, syempre, disappointment kasi we failed to achieve our goal. But at the same time, we gave Korea a good fight. In fact, we thought we were gonna win that game because we were in control for most of the game. Nung huli na lang, kasi mas veterano yung Korea eh. Mga bata yung players namin noon eh, yung Gilas. They were mostly college players eh. So yung experience ng Korea, lumabas nung dulo, nung end game, they made the big shots. And they won a very close game, I think only 2 points. So, well, at the same time, it felt good na we competed and we almost beat Korea. So, hindi naman nasayang yung pinagtrabahuhan namin. And I think because of that, the SVP was motivated also to move forward with the program. Kaya nagtuloy-tuloy yung Gilas program up to now. And of course, right after our batch, yung Gilas 2.0 na under Coach Chot Reyes, they qualified for the World Cup, which is a huge achievement. But it all started with our program, so I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be part of that program.
How you became team manager in San Beda.
So after my Gilas stint, when our contract expired, no, the entire team was revamped, no, the entire coaching staff. Tama naman, the former team manager of San Beda, si Boss Mike Habani, he resigned as team manager. So since I was already part of the MVP group, being part of the Gilas program, si Coach Chot Reyes recommended me kay Boss MVP, no, to fill up that position na naiwan ni Boss Mike. So si Boss MVP called me up and asked if I would be willing to take the job. At first, I wasn't very happy, because I wanted to coach. I wanted to continue my coaching career, especially coming from the national team. So, I had higher goals as a coach. But the position was offered to me as team manager, and since San Beda is my alma mater, so tinanggap ko. Saka syempre, si Boss MVP yung tumawag sa akin. I really couldn't say no to him, considering how much he has given to the school. So I accepted the job. And then doon na nagsimula. That was in 2012. And up to now, I'm still the team manager. So ibig sabihin, na-enjoy ko rin siya. Kaya tumagal din ako dito.
Your top 5 best and beta players.
Well, that's tough. Because if you look at the all-time greats, that would include, of course, the great Kaloy Loizaga, who is still considered the best player coming out of Asia. No? So, syempre, nandun yun, si Kaloy, the King Lion. Forever the greatest Red Lion. So, Kaloy Loizaga. Abe King, because he was a dominant center during his time. He was a rebounding monster, and even in the PBA, he was an outstanding player. Boy Beats, Victoria, somebody that I grew up in school with. I was just ahead of him by 2 years, and I saw his progress, no, nung magmula nung midget pa lang siya hanggang maging college player sa San Beda. He was really an exceptional scorer, and he was very entertaining to watch because of his skills, because of his talent, athleticism. He could dunk even if he was barely 5'9". So masarap panoorin si Boy Beats, and when he became the Rookie of the Year in the PBA. So definitely he's in my top 5. And then, well, two of my former players, Calvin Octana, who is doing very well right now, part of Tequila's team, the current top scorer of the TNT team. Very hard-working player, can do a lot of things on the court other than just scoring. He could rebound, he could play defense, block shots. So definitely Calvin Octana. And then of course Robert Bolick, who is right now the top scorer in the league in the PBA. Plays with a lot of heart, very intelligent player, and a winner, a born winner. He hates losing. So sa ugali pa lang, he's the type of player any coach would love to have in the team kasi ayaw magpatalo. So yeah, that would be my top 5 of all time. The NCAA allow FSAs again? For me, yes. Because you have to embrace now the way basketball is treated globally, which is welcoming different nationalities, in any part of the world, at any level, whether it's professional or college. Everybody's welcoming other nationalities, to compete with and to compete against, because it just makes the game much more, much higher level in terms of competition. So I think the NCAA should do that to bring back the FSA. Isa lang naman that's just one per team. And so we're seeing the effects of not having an FSA right now kasi when we play against UAAP teams, it's really hard to win against them when they have FSAs that are really big, tall, and athletic. So, hirap, diba? Hirap sila kalabanin. And it doesn't look good that they're beating us, lalo na pag comeback tayo because we couldn't compete against their FSA. Doesn't look good for the school, doesn't look good for the league. Well, the NCAA has its reasons for banning the FSA, but I just think it would be beneficial to the league to bring back the FSA. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I hope they consider it. Starts as a broadcaster in the PBA. Well, I auditioned. Just like everybody else, I auditioned. But I started kasi for many different leagues much earlier. Matagal ko na rin ginagawa ito since I think 2005. I was an analyst for regional leagues. I was an analyst for the PBL and then the NCAA. So doon ako tumagal din sa NCAA. That's where I got my big break with the ABS-CBN. So I did broadcasting for the NCAA for over 5 years. So when the opportunity came na may auditions for the PBA, I auditioned. And at first, konti lang yung assignments ko. I was just getting maybe once or twice a month. But then eventually, dumami na din. Until now is yun yung pinakamarami kong assignments this season. Because in a week, I get like 2 or 3 assignments per week. But under different media, I do radio, I do live stream, and then TV. So tatlo yun. So I usually get at least one from each medium. Kaya parang 3 times a week at least. So ngayon yung pinakamarami. And I'm just trying to stay here. It's a very competitive field. Every year there are new sportscasters coming in. So mahirap, I just need to really keep improving as well para they keep giving me jobs, And it's tough to sustain. It's tough to stay here because of the competition. Awa ng Diyos, dito pa rin tayo sa PBA. But I've been doing this for a long time already.
Who is co-broadcaster you learn the most?
I was blessed to be partners with the very best broadcasters in the industry. Halos lahat sila naging kapartner ko, and I learned from all of them. So if you think of any anchorman na kilala, nakapartner ko lahat yan. But if I have to choose one, so I guess it has to be si Sir Sarmenta, because not only because of his experience and yung galing niya, I was also able to attend some of his talks, some of his seminars, and every time I attend, I learn something new from him. Magaling talaga. Magaling yung approach niya, magaling yung diskarte niya, and he makes the coverage much better, much more entertaining to watch. Yun. So, I would say si Sir Sarmenta, pinakamadami ako natutunan. Pero lahat sila, natuto ako sa kanilang lahat. Kahit yung mga younger anchors, sila Carlo Pamintuan, sila Magu, Marjon, natuto ako sa kanilang lahat.
If you became PBA player, who do you want face there?
Well, first of all, I was never good enough to be even dream of becoming a PBA player. Pero siguro kung naging PBA player ako, dahil maliit ako, guard ako. So kung naging PBA player ako, ang mga abutan ko doon na guards are sila Ronnie Manzano, sila Lindo Pumaren, Johnny Amarientos, those guys, those were the elite guards when I was younger. Sila Boy Beats, yan, si Olsen, Rosella, yan yung mga kaidaran ko. Magagaling yan mga yan, mga idol ko yan. And then, later on, sumunod na dyan sila Jimmy Alapag na. So they're really elite guards that I'm sure di ko kaya bantayan yung mga yun. But anyway, yeah, if I were ever just to be a PBA player, yun yung mga gusto kong laro. Yes, I'm actually an animal lover. I love all animals. But I do have a lot of pets. I have 4 dogs, I have 4 cats, I have a hamster, I used to have a turtle. So yes. My social media posts are mostly about promoting animal welfare, the right treatment of animals. I'm not a vegan, but I'm trying to. Kaya lang, talagang mahirap. But what I'm fighting for is the right treatment of the animals. So even animals that are meant for food. So habang inaalagaan sila, gusto ko maalagaan sila ng tama. Hindi yung kakatayin na nga sila, hirap pa ng buhay nila. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm fighting for. Na sana at least habang nabubuhay sila, habang di pa sila kinakatay, is maayos naman yung buhay nila. Hindi yung hirap na hirap, hindi yung masisikip, hindi yung sinasaktan. Diba? Kasi for most of the farm animals, ang pinaka-escape lang nila dun sa torture na nakukuha nila everyday is pagka makatayin na sila. So that's what happens In the entire world, actually. Ganun lahat. So that's what I'm trying to fight for. So it's not just the dogs, not just the pets that we have at home, but all the animals. Top 5 PBA players. Well, definitely Junmar. You can not include Junmar. He's a 7-time MVP. Ramon Fernandez. Alvin Patrimonio. Bogs Adornado. Maybe Jimmy Alapag at point guard. Ang dami Actually, Paul, ang daming sobrang gagaling sa PBA. Alan Kaydig, Patoy Po, even the great Robert Jaworski, so many. Pero siguro yung binanggit kong 5, that would be my 5 greatest players of all time. The PBA.
Thank you for watching.